So in this data, we will also do the diagnostic correlation analysis. We shall run a correlation analysis at bivariate level for presenting, to present our data of choice. So we're going to run correlation for the right mindfulness. The thing we want to do here is that, is there a correlation between right mindfulness score at baseline versus the healing status at baseline versus the right mindfulness at endline versus the healing status at inline? Like, we just do different possible pairs and then we see whether is it a strong correlation, weak correlation, is it statistically significant or not. So from the output here, what we have in here is if there is 1 that is a perfect correlation. So in this case 1, like from our variable, this is our variables 1 2 3 4, also the same as here 1 2 3 4. So here we could have also put right mindfulness baseline up here, right mindfulness baseline, something like this. But because of space, we just thought, okay, let's just abbreviate. Where you said right mindfulness baseline, it will be 1. So up here where you see 1 1, those are right mindfulness baseline. So it's the same thing. If you see 2 up here, so that is the healing, the healing from intergenerational trauma baseline, something like that. So when you run a correlation between right mindfulness baseline score versus the baseline score, automatically you get 1 because it will be a perfect score. But if it is healing from the trauma versus number 1, which is right mindfulness baseline, this is the correlation value, the correlation coefficient. And if it has asterisk, it means that it is, the correlation is significant at 0.01 level of significance. So that is it. So instead of adding p-value, p is equal to this, you can literally just put the correlation coefficient value and then you can add the asterisk to mean that it was significant, or if it doesn't have that asterisk, it means that it was not significant at your level of significance. Yeah, like it was not significant at either 0.05 level of significance or 0.01 level of significance, depending on the analysis you want to analyze. Yeah. So we are going to try to replicate these. So we did the correlation for right mindfulness. We also did the one for African wisdom, and then we performed the one for the right mindfulness and African wisdom. That is the combination. Of course, remember, we still have the intervention groups and then the control groups for each of those interventions. So let us begin by right mindfulness intervention group. So to perform correlation within the right mindfulness intervention group, so what I'm going to do, go and try to import your data, open Excel, dataset for SPSS. The data I want to import is the hypothesis data. Then you say read variable names from the first row of the data. Okay, that's the data we want to use. Remove the previous data that you have been using. We don't need that now. All I need is this new data. In this new data, it has different scores, the different things I need. The most important thing is that it is divided. Up here you have right mindfulness. Up there, right mindfulness, both in the control and then the intervention group. It goes up to here. Next, AW African wisdom starts from this 16. African wisdom goes up to there. Next is the combination of right mindfulness, African wisdom. So this one is the combination. People who are receiving both, like all those other different treatments. So that is what we have. So that is all. So when I want to perform the first section, I just consider between these between number 1 up to number 15. That range, that is where I will be able to have the right mindfulness based comparison. So to conduct that analysis after importing now, what do we want to compare here? We want to compare the right mindfulness score at baseline versus the healing state at baseline, the right mindfulness at endline, the healing at endline, but for the right mindfulness based intervention group. So what we're going to do is that if I come to analyze wherever you are, whether you're at the output section or you are within the data section, which is the data view. This is how the data is looking like. So I come here to analyze, I come to correlate. Okay, I choose the bivariate correlation. Then I take the variables I want to correlate all the other side. I have to take it the other side. So this is the right mindfulness based intervention, the baseline score. I want that. This is the right mindfulness intervention DV, that's the healing status at baseline. I want that. Next, this is the right mindfulness control baseline. That's the right mindfulness score for the control group baseline. So let's first leave the control group. Let's only deal with the intervention group first of all. Let's leave the control group. So next, so I want the end line for this. So this is right mindfulness based intervention end line. Then the right mindfulness based intervention DV, the healing status at end line. Those are the first of all the four I want. Those are the first four we can see here. Intervention group. So those are the first four we need. So those are the four we need. And the options here, do I need to report mean and standard deviation? Is it really important? We can really confirm that. Do we need? We don't need. We only need the correlation coefficient and then the p-value. So we don't really need that. So you don't take that. Just leave it. You want Pearson? Yes. You want a Pearson correlation? I want that. Two-tailed test. Do you want to flag significant correlation? Yes, I want it to flag. All these asterisk we are seeing here in the analysis, we want it to appear. So if that is done, I press OK, then it will perform for me the analysis. That's what I have. So when you compare with what we have in the table, here I was running the analysis for the intervention group. So here I have right mindfulness baseline. Here is right mindfulness baseline. That is okay. Next, I have the healing status, the DV baseline. Also here I have the DV baseline. That's this is it. This is the right mindfulness end line, right mindfulness based intervention end line. This is it. Then lastly, the DV, the healing of the intergenerational trauma end line. That is the DV end line. It is here. So just compare the values in here. So I can see that if I run 1 versus 1, I get a perfect score of 1. That is a right mindfulness based intervention baseline versus baseline, that is 1. Next, but if it is the healing baseline versus the number 1 here, which is the mindfulness baseline, I get this correlation coefficient. So this is DV healing is here versus right mindfulness based intervention baseline, which is this. So the correlation coefficient value is 0.727, which is that. And you can see that it has added asterisks there. And it's saying that 2 asterisk it means that correlation is significant at 0.01 level. It is there. And also it adds the p-value. The p-value is p is equal to 0.000. And then the number of pairs it compared were 33 different pairs. The 33 combinations, the pairs. That is what it compared. So that is the value in there. So whatever possibility you choose, it will always land. Okay, it will always land there. Now remember, when you're reading this, just consider when you divide this into the middle. See, it is a perfect. The upper one on the right hand side here is more like the mirror of this previous one. So sometimes we don't bother listing the values in here because you see here, this is the same as this one. This cell is the same as this cell. This corner is the same as this corner. This corner is the same as this. This is the same as this. Then this is. So sometimes we don't bother. That's why in the table here, when you report, we only report the downer section. We don't bother reporting this other upper section because it is the mirror of these other values in here. So you can see that what we got in Stata is perfect with what we are finding when we have used the SPSS. Now, on the right hand side is the control group. How about when you also want to perform the correlation but for the control group for that intervention? So again, come back to analyze, come to correlate, choose bivariate. Now I want to take back all these other values I had in here. This time around I want the control group. So you have the right mindfulness control group baseline. I need that. Here you have the right mindfulness DV, the healing status in the control group baseline. I want that. So I want their endline scores. Then I look for right mindfulness based intervention endline in the control. Yes, I need that. Next is right mindfulness, healing in the end line. Yes, I need that. And that is it. Then I can press OK and it will perform that analysis. When you compare with the group here, the control group, I can see that 0.084 is there, 0.214 is there, 0.508, 0.559 is there. So everything is the same. So what we are reporting is the correlation coefficient value, and then we add asterisk to show that it was significant or not. You can, of course, maybe add the p-value, but then the table becomes very, very crowded. So that same analysis was also done for African wisdom following the same format, and also the combination following the same format. Let's do the combination. So using that same data set still, if I go to analyze, I go to correlate, I go to bivariate. Let me take back what I have here. So the combination should be somewhere down the combination group. All right, so here, okay. So from this V to 9 downwards combination. So I need right mindfulness and African wisdom, base intervention, baseline. I need that. Then I need the DV, the dependent variable, the healing status, baseline. I need that. Now, if you check this next one has the word CON, meaning that is the control group. That is the control group. So we cannot add that. So that we shall consider it for the next analysis. So I need the intervention group. So here we have the end line. So here I come for right mindfulness and African wisdom, end line, intervention group INT. So I take that. Then I need right mindfulness, African wisdom, DV end line. I need that. Those are the four. I run the analysis. So sometimes the data may have so many other columns, but all you have to focus on is what do I want to run? What do I want to analyze? So here you can see that our values are also matching perfectly. 0.690, 0.690 with the two asterisks, meaning it was significant because we can see the p-value here is less than 0.05, also less than 0.01 if we are considering 95% confidence interval. So all these values are a perfect mirror of what we have in this analysis. Again, meaning the starter analysis, which was originally done, is agreeing with what SPSS is giving us. You can also do the same for control group. It will still be the same follow-up, same follow-up, same follow-up. So that is basically how you do a correlation analysis using SPSS. Let's look at a sample result in here. So here we are saying that results from the table above shows that the combination of right mindfulness and African wisdom, okay, that is the overall intervention for that group. When you compare it with the healing status, they had a high positive correlation at the baseline. Look at this. This is baseline African wisdom, healing status. This is also baseline, the healing status. Now, when you compare the baseline trauma status, healing status, and also the baseline African wisdom and right mindfulness combination. So this is supposed to be the combination. Okay. So when you compare that combination there, so it means that still there was a bit strong correlation in between them, and it was significant. So it was really closely significant. So generally meaning somebody's African right mindfulness and African wisdom score is associated with somebody's trauma status at baseline. Even when you compare to end line here, end line, this is the end line. African wisdom end line is number 3 versus the healing status end line number 4. So 3 versus 4, which is this. Now this was also a strong correlation, and it was statistically significant. So meaning the combination was working. Okay, the higher the score for the right mindfulness and African wisdom score, the better your healing status. So it was really working. That is how conclusion could be drawn from that. So the results also reveal that the correlation of the combination of right mindfulness and African wisdom at end line was also very high, that association, and it was positive, and it was highly significant, with the p-value being less than 0.05, or you can say less than 0.01, if you're dealing with a 99% confidence interval. So that part is done. That is how you perform the correlation analysis.